Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to the channel. It's Cynicalex. And like a lot of players in Marvel Future Fight, you're probably wondering where the 7-year anniversary announcements are. And like me, you are frustrated to know that they're nowhere to be found. And if you go on social media for MFF, you basically see that echoed everywhere. Reddit, Discord, Twitter, the official forums, which I shudder to go on. But yeah, they have a point. No 7-year anniversary events have been announced just yet. Now, this can definitely be a case of, us just being a day early, or the devs or whatever just being a day late. They're still translating it. They're waiting for existing events in the game to wrap up, because we do still have a day on this token event and so on and so forth. So probably tonight it's going to be announced, and it'll start tomorrow, because they don't want to flood the game with too many events simultaneously. However, I do think it still points to a larger theme thus far this year that I hope Multiverse of Madness and maybe Thor Love and Thunder, etc. will save us, or sort of pull us out of. And that is sort of this lackluster sleep, this lull, this unfun time that we've been in for the past 3 months in Marvel Future Fight. Basically the entirety of the year thus far, which sounds really bad. Okay, I don't want to sound too bad about it, but it's true. The whole year has been kind of sleepy. And you can see it in a lot of different metrics. You can see it in the social media engagement, the number of likes, the number of comments. You can see it on my channel and views and stuff like that, and other YouTubers' channels, etc. You can probably see it in your friends lists, with more people taking longer to log in, not logging in daily, etc. People leaving alliances, quitting, blah, blah, blah. Anyways, I don't want to make a video, and I'm not making a video saying that the game is in trouble or ringing any alarm bells or anything like that. But what I do want to point out, what I do want to talk about is that at the beginning of the year, I said, oh, maybe this is going to be the year of the mutants, because, yeah, a lot of the mutants in Marvel Future Fight kind of suck. That's just true. And even the tier 3 ones kind of suck. Namor sucks, Jane Grey sucks, the Storm, right? Like, there's just a lot of them that need a lot of help. Magneto, right? And we got mutants. The very first update was a mutant update. In hindsight, like, Emma and Betsy were great. Everybody else has been kind of eh. And if you even just look at all of the characters that have gotten reworks this year, most of them are just not very popular characters. I'm not saying they didn't deserve reworks. I'm not saying that I want to see Captain America's 20th uniform. Not at all. But you have to acknowledge that, Drax and Gamora getting uniforms, not the most exciting thing. When you couple that with Colossus and Mr. Sinister getting uniforms, it's still not that exciting. When you couple that with the Hawkeyes getting uniforms, it's still not that exciting. And so there basically have only been like less than a handful of popular characters getting the spotlight this year. We have Thanos, Adam Warlock, and Infinity Ultron. Just those 3. And 2 of those 3 are insanely expensive. So then it, of course, is going to reduce the number of players who can actually even interact. So imagine you're not a big fan of mutants to want to build up the lesser mutants, the Mr. Sinisters, etc. You don't have tons of money to throw at the game for characters like Thanos and Adam Warlock. So basically, you've enjoyed the Hawkeye update and Infinity Ultron, and that's probably it. On top of the fact that, there's more, don't worry. On top of the fact that Infinity Ultron really didn't move the needle at all. Right, it really is just a much harder version of Null and Mephisto that we're all scratching our heads wondering, why should I play this after I get the icon and one of his artifacts? And you're right to ask that question, because no one cares, because the rewards are exactly the same. So I could take a couple of minutes to beat Null and get a decent amount of Conqueror XP, etc. Or I can take twice as much time to beat a lower stage of Ultron, feel worse about myself, feel weaker about my roster, and get the same rewards. And you can see that when you look at the world boss info. Where is it? You see the rankings. The rankings haven't changed, dog. Especially when you scroll down. How am I still in the top 50? I don't know. It's because no one's playing this boss, because no one cares, because the rewards are not any better, but the difficulty is probably twice as hard. So you couple all of this with the other glaring issue for this year, and again, I'm focusing specifically on this year, we've had, say it with me now, exactly 1 new character. And I really am still scratching my head at what is going on over at the MFF you know, the MFF headquarters, the laboratory for Marvel Future Fight. Did they just run out of the chemicals that they need to make new characters? Listen, I don't want to speculate too much on this, but it's genuinely frustrating. I don't understand why they're not releasing more characters. Maybe they've made a big fuss, a big stinky fuss about the 250th character, and they're gonna do this big like anniversary, 7 years, 250 characters. You know, that's fine. But after that, they need to start releasing new characters way faster. Because this year is the worst year. We're averaging we're on pace right now for 4 new characters. 4. Because in 3 months, we've had 1 new character. And I know, when old characters get new uniforms, basically Adam Warlock is a new character. That's true. That's very true. But for veterans of this game, for people who have been dedicated to this game for 7 years, or almost coming up on 7 years, even if they're not big spenders, I'm not just talking about whales. If you've been dedicated to this game for even like 5 years or 6 years, you probably have pretty much every character in the game unlocked. You may not have all of them built up the way I have, but you have them all. So to go from getting like 5 or 6 characters in a single update, I repeat, 5 characters in a single update versus this new pace, which is on pace for 4 characters in the whole freaking year. It's way too much. Like they're going way too far in one direction, and it's not okay. And compared to last year, it's nuts. Last year, by this time, by March, by the end of March and early April, we had gotten 3 new characters with a 4th one on the horizon. We had gotten Null, we had gotten Icarus, and we had gotten Cersei. Now again, Icarus and Cersei were only tier 2 at the time. They weren't really pushing the needle. We weren't like losing we weren't losing our marbles over them. But we also got Null, who's a very expensive character, who was the second native tier 3, the first native tier 3 to not be tied to an epic quest. So you can see how all of this is like new, uncharted ground, pioneering, really exciting stuff, right? The very first time we get to build up a native tier 3 from the ground up without having to worry about an epic quest. So where is all of this fanfare this year? Where is all of that stuff? It's nowhere. It's nowhere, dude. I don't think the devs need to be told that Echo is not as exciting, is not even half as exciting as Null, let alone Icarus and Cersei, and soon to come Mephisto. So yeah, I really realized all of that in combination and added all of that up, and I'm like, wow, no wonder I'm getting like half the monthly views that I normally get. If I wasn't, if I didn't have a channel for this game, I probably would have taken a break by now. Dude, this year has been sleepy AF. And I don't need to remind you what the F stands for. It stands for frickin' sleepy, man. Sleepy as hell. And I try not to say stuff like sleepy, or I try not to let it permeate too much of the conversation on the channel, because I feel like it just breeds more negativity about the game. But I'm trying to do the opposite. I'm basically trying to shake the devs awake, because it seems like they've fallen asleep at the wheel, and they've gotten really good. I'll say this, they've gotten really good at making reworks, incrementally better reworks, and they've gotten really good at giving justice to characters who were neglected for years. So it's always painful to criticize them when I know how well they've done for characters like Emma Frost, for characters like Supergiant, right? Like, they've really done these characters, like Hawkeye, they've really done these characters a huge service by upgrading them to where they deserve to be, right? The game is as balanced as it's ever been, and that's such a hard thing to do in a game with this many characters, 249 characters, over 350 uniforms, right? It's really hard to do. So on that front, they're doing really well. Unfortunately, that's not what's going to put butts in seats and get people logging into this game every day and getting excited about the game. They got to get excited about the game because you're giving them goals. And I was going to make a separate video on like why people quit the game because they don't have goals, but I can sort of just bundle it into this video and basically point out what I've been saying and how it relates to people quitting or feeling bored with the game or feeling that the game is sleepy. It's because there are no goals, right? As expensive as Null was, not only was he free to grind, right? Like you don't need to pay money to get Null, whereas you do with Echo from the get-go. So there's immediately a difference. But Null represented a long-term goal, right? What does Echo represent? At the end of the day, she's a very good speed leadership for PvP. That is such an obstructed goal. You're like, okay, so it's like a Rubik's Cube. How am I going to fit Echo into my roster? Well, I'm going to have to transcend her. I'm going to have to get her uniform. But I'm also going to have to switch some of my my speed characters to PvP. Like, that's so messy, dude. No one wants to deal with that. And you can see that because, surprise, surprise, not many PvP teams are using Echo, right? If you just go and look. Like, there are some. They're quirky. But most people are just like, nah, I'll rock with Thanos, Adam Warlock, and Doctor Doom. Fair play. But Null last year, and then later on Mephisto, represented these awesome long-term goals. Basically saying what we've always loved about MFF. Grind it out for a month, grind it out for 2 months, and you're going to get an epic reward for free. That is what makes this game so special. And the devs have forgotten that. The devs have not been implementing that pillar of the game in content for the last 3 months. And hopefully that changes, man. I don't know what characters they can introduce with Multiverse of Madness. I was talking about this on Discord. We pretty much have all the characters in the game already. America Chavez, we got her. Wong, we got her. Clea, even if they make Rachel McAdams Clea, we've got Clea already. Obviously, we have Doctor Strange. We have Professor X for the people who have seen the trailer. Who are they gonna? We have all the members of the Illuminati. Yeah. So I don't know, man. But really, we need new goals in Marvel Future Fight, and that's where I think the ultimate issue lies, is that the devs have forgotten about goals. And to be honest, the only pseudo goal we've gotten this year has been the story mode, and grinding, auto playing it in order to build up more tier 3 materials and things. So people have new goals which you can now focus on, of getting more characters for the story mode specifically, and then also specifically getting the synergy characters, because these synergy characters never change. So I highly recommend you get these characters to level 70. You do not have to get them beyond level 70. You do not have to get their uniforms. So this is a very free-to-play friendly goal. This is a very grind friendly goal, and it's free, right? You don't have to get uniforms. You do not have to transcend them. And these are all farmable characters, right? There only are, well, Nick Fury is a little bit harder to get. And then we have Wolverine, who's a little bit harder to get, and Doctor Strange. So 3 out of like 15 characters, right? Very few, very, very few. You can easily complete 90% of that for free. But other than that, there's been nothing this year. So I really hope the devs have something even spicier than last year planned for the anniversary, because now more than last year, the game needs it. Funny enough, the game is actually in a more, even after as good as the 6-year anniversary was, and as good as the years have been recently for Marvel Future Fight in terms of character reworks and like really solid game modes like Dispatch and stuff and World Boss Legend, the game really needs an adrenaline injection at the moment, because it's starting to flatline. It hasn't flatlined yet, but it's starting to flatline. So yeah, I wanted to make this video. I wanted to give you guys that update, and I wanted to give you my thoughts on sort of maybe why you're bored with the game, because I feel like a lot of players feel this way. Maybe they're too shy, or they don't want to say it because they don't want to let that really negative minority of players feel like they've won. Obviously, we're going to get people in the comments like, I quit this game years ago, and I'm so glad that I did. That's fine, dude. Whatever. You're in the comments now, so obviously you haven't quit it completely. Wink, wink. But yeah, hit me up in the comments down below. Let me know what you think, and fingers and toes crossed for an absolutely bonkers anniversary and bonkers updates to come that renew our goals and give us things to do in this wacky collection game that we call MFF. Thanks so much for watching. Smash the like button, keeps the channel afloat, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care.